Salutations, Bonch. I'm trying to figure out why we're getting skipping in our music before I go grab my morning coffee. Welcome in, Traits. All right. Everybody grab a partner. It's time for couple skates. Happy Friday, y'all. It's Friday. Welcome in. Zev, thank you so much for the sub. Saf, thank you so much for the sub. 22 months and 17 months. Holy poop. It's a while. Appreciate you guys. This was so much cooler when I had all these other plugins gone, but it started doing some skipping stuff. Oh, it's timeless? No, it's still working. Maybe Snap Heat is doing it. Hope you're all doing well out there on this Friday. Bonch. Salutations, first in. Traits, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Recluse, welcome back, brother. Mr. Sketty, welcome in. Hope you're doing well over there. We are going to do a bunch of feedback today, so we get to listen to the best music on Twitch, which is always fun. Always a good time on Fridays. Because you guys are always bringing just freaking greatness. So good. Well, I'm glad to know that Rift isn't the one that's causing the complete freak out of audio here. Maybe it's Guitar Rig and Rift together. It's just a little bit too much or something while streaming. It's funny, I build these little modular monstrosities and there's like almost no CPU, and then I fire up the live stream and it's like Zev Music in the chat. Everybody give a follow to Zev. Zev, can you spam some links? Will has dropped a new EP this week. It's already climbing the charts, and you should help him do that. It's awesome music. It's a couple of tracks on the EP. It'll make you shake your moneymaker. Zeep Xanthorpe, I see you. How are you? Saffron, hello. Welcome in, brother. Thanks again for the sub. I can't remember if I got the email out this morning yet or not, but Thursday next week. Got a spot for you if you want it. Paul, tuning in from sunny Maryland. Wet and great here in Portland. This has got to be one of the wettest years ever. Javar, welcome in. Sub party, who's next? Javar's saying, OhmLab, so you're saying there's a glitch in the Rift? That would be a good album name, in fact. I'm taking it. Dang it. A glitch in the Rift. As I'm reading that, I'm thinking, ooh, that's nice. That's catchy. Oh, Saf. Dude, that sucks. Head out into the world and your car doesn't work. Man. Oh, man. Jafar. I love that. Oh, I love that. I'm just getting caught up here reading about your battery kit making. Hell yeah. Gag, welcome in. The trilling sound is coming from the stream. It's from the modular rack running in the background here. Like gargle purring. Yeah. Or is it your cat? Your cat will probably respond to it, right? Hey, nice. Zeep Xanthorpe getting the notification of Zev's release. You gotta love that. You're the best, Will. You're the best. I think it is Rift though that causes the sample rate conflict. Unfortunately, it's such a badass plugin, but I think it is wreaking havoc on the CPU while I'm streaming. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. For anyone who is interested in playing along with that patch, it's one that we've used many times, I believe. Oh, wouldn't you know it? It doesn't actually tell me which one I loaded here. See if I can remember. Origin of Birds. I think. Origin of Birds. Slowed it down and did some stuff. Shifted some pitch and stuff. I know. I think it's just Rift. Here. Watch. I'll just turn the stuff off and then everything goes away. I think it's just the combination of Reactor and Rift together. No, I'm not on an M1. This is the very last build of the Intel chip, and it's got the Bionic coprocessor. It's got the Apple coprocessor in it. So I've heard great things about M1 for Logic Pro. I didn't want to get anything M1. I really want M2. I worked with Apple for a lot of years, so I've learned a lot of lessons. And I've learned what I really like, so. Yeah, M2 though, right? Right. Oh man, so true. So true. All right, so we've got Feedback Friday happening. And we've got 1,000 followers over here. So I put together an unexpected one for you. Yes, you are my guinea pig for the M1. Yes, I like that. Oh, wow. Reckless, you finally hit a limit, huh? Yeah, it is a milestone. I was actually just talking with someone yesterday about how I've not like advertised the fact that the stream happens. So every bit of growth has been just people tuning in randomly and sticking around, which is like the best kind, right? It is a great community here. So anyway, you guys are always getting OhmLab sounds from me. So I thought I'd shake it up a bit and kick you something from one of my other labels. So this is called 404 Drums Deconstructed. And it is a crazy cool pack. Here, I'll play you the demo while we talk about this. But pretty much everything in this pack is derived from just a couple of sounds of me, like on this desk, actually, several houses ago, and a few countries ago. It was like a pen and a finger or something like that, hitting the table, and then through the wonders of scanned synthesis, I created all of these sounds. And there's no processing or anything like that ever used in any of the demos. So these are all just dry sounds, well, sounds as they are found inside of the pack. Anton, welcome in. And the party of 7, thank you so much for the raid. How's your stream? We are currently listening to the free sounds that everybody is getting today. No, you might think these are from a Roland, but they're from my finger on a desk. Pencil or pen. So those were made, all the sounds were made inside of Scanner XT, which is a scan synthesis tool from Native Instruments that was released many moons ago. Anton, thank you so much for the follow and the raid. How was your stream? How you doing? Thank you. And this is from one of my other labels, Sound Freaks, which has been on hiatus throughout the pandemic and a bit before. And there's a ton of sounds in here: kicks, snares, toms, perks, hats, cymbals, reverses, and suckbacks, and blips, and bleeps, and clicks, and clacks, and clips, and chip tunes, and effects, and noise, and oddities. There are 14 battery kits, 13 EXS24 kits, which are now sampler kits inside of Logic. Ultrabeat, there are 5. There's 1 kontakt instrument, which is actually really unique in how it works. All of the sounds from the entire library are in there, and we've set up a bunch of switches through a whole bunch of macro controls. And there's also a couple of Ableton Live kits as well. So, hope you guys enjoy. This is a really popular one. We originally released this, let's see here, 2015. So this is actually 7 years back now. So it's like one of those little gems that you rediscover and dust off and love for a little while. So anyway, feel free to spam that in the chat as we go through Feedback Friday today. It's just exclamation 1K is the command. And I hope you guys dig the sounds. We can have a little side competition in the community challenge this month. Best beat with 404 samples. The other challenge this month is, and all the details will be going up today in the Discord, and there will be a new channel for it in the Discord, because it's going to be open to the entire community this time around instead of just the subscribers. But the challenge is any genre, any kind of music, any format, right? So it could be a beat, it could be a full song, it could be, you know, a cinematic trailer, it could be whatever. But the catch this month is that you've got to use at least one sound from nature in it. And I'll be posting a bunch of sounds to get us started, and a link to a drive that y'all can add sounds to as the month progresses. But we'll have 2 challenges this month: best beat with made with 404 samples, and the best track with a nature sample in it. So the Chrominator 2000, I love it. It has a name. It has a name. This is nice. I like it. All right, let's see who's dropped stuff for feedback already. Ooh, Ben is first. Ben is first. And up early, too. 5:45 a.m. All right, let me get set up here. All right, so Ben says, random dubstep stuff. I don't know, had to step away from SRAM. um, fucking alien is what this one's called. Version 2. Let's see what he's cooking up. Probably gonna need to download this. Yeah. Give that just 1 second to happen. All right. This one's from Nanowires. Dude, this is fun. I don't know exactly what I would change about this. This is very alien. I like it. Perhaps just tweaking the kick every once in a while. Whether it's the actual 4 count kick or if it's some kind of like it gets a beat repeat and a twist of some kind every once in a while. You know, a little comb filter, a little infinite skip, a little like glitch or wind down or something. I like that it's constant and consistent. It's very grounding. But it's like the only thing that you can still fuck with in the track. So that one was pretty wild, man. Up next. It's Recluse. Wrote a second drop to this work in progress I've shared in the past. I think some otherworldly entity has infiltrated my project. Still need to work on an outro. Ooh, cool. Okay. This one's called Black Sky. And it is from the one and only Recluse.
I dream about things way beyond this atmosphere. Can you imagine floating weightless, like a satellite in the black sky? Like if I was an astronaut, I definitely wouldn't still be here. But for now, I'm here.
Welcome. Prepare for light speed. Launch sequence activated.
Can you imagine floating weightless, like a satellite in the black sky? I dream about things way beyond this atmosphere. Can you imagine floating weightless? Floating weightless. Imagine floating weightless in the sky.
Life form detected.
This is great. Recluse, I love the second drop. I think it's awesome. Is this made in Harmer? Hulk Smash is asking. Welcome in, by the way. And Andremia, welcome in. That is a fine intro, says Gag. This is great, man. There's not really much to pick apart, of course. It just feels like we're in a game. And then like we're in your head while you're playing this game or something. Like, it's awesome. It's just great. It's just great. Serum. Tried and trusted. Stamp of approval. Yeah, I mean, some overdrive on the vocoder. No real drive added. Just pass it through, right? Kind of sharpen up the edges. Aim for probably like 8K, 6 to 8K, something like that for the target frequency. And I think it'd give a nice little edge and a little bit more definition. Love the backmask moment, like 150 or something, somewhere in there, 2 minutes. And that breath at 208, really nice touch. There's a lot of little detail work in this that I'm really appreciating, but really it's the palette. It's like the soundscape that you've built with these sounds and the way that they all commingle. It's really, really nice. And you've given everything room to breathe, and everything seems very balanced. So kudos. The second drop though is awesome. Absolutely great. I think there's some room for just a little bit of like quick or changing, like ramping up in rate modulation that you could play with. Maybe just a little bit of tremolo, so it's just maybe a little bit of volume automation on a couple of things. But just while this bass is kind of grinding and sliding and stuff, I think that there, especially that long pitch bend, it'd be cool if like right in the middle of that there was a little whoa, 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 you know, just a little. Dude, Recluse, thank you. Seriously, this is a work of art here. I really want to hear this mastered down. There are details yet to be heard in this, I think. Do me a favor, when you get to the end of this whole thing, drop everything a few dB and then run the entire thing through a really simple, subtle tube saturation to bring that level back up, and see what it sounds like. I just feel like there's lots of really good textures in all of that commingling. Very good stuff. Gag is up next. Pan Am Remix Final. All right. Let's see what you got up to.
Let's go. And I walk past. I want sunsets painted in the sky for me. Laughter smells. Chanel perfume and cable knit clothing. Sunburns for the self-loathing, melted into suntans for the sugar coating. Sunburns for the self-loathing, melted into suntans for the sugar I'm taking off and I don't wanna win. And I wish my name was like a pin in fight. I counted all the reasons that I shouldn't sin, and to feel like a flossy trophy I used to win. Grew up believing I descended from a king. Sunburns for the self-loathing, melted into suntans for the sugar coating. Sunburns for the self-loathing, melted into suntans for the sugar Wish my mind was like a pin in fight. Instead it's like a dreamless night. Dreamless night.
Okay. Gag, this is great. It's good stuff. Luffs are hot, and I think that this has the kind of feel of someone mixing with the mindset or advice coming from more of like a bass music centric mindset. And I would love to hear this as more of like an R&B or tropical kind of mixed profile approach where the emphasis is really put on the warmth and the groove and the dynamics. So the vocals aren't pushed, right? When they reach their peaks, it really is some kind of a crescendo and not just this kind of loud, sustained presence. So there's a bit more of an emotional shift, and a bit more of like a fun ride for all the listeners. Um, so I think a bit more dynamic range in this would feel absolutely great. Really, really solid arrangement, palette, movement. The mix that you've set up here is good. It's loud. I just think it would be even better if this was done more in like an R&B or tropical kind of um, uh, approach. And I saw a question in the chat. What is LUFS? LUFS is a measurement of loudness, of our perceived loudness ranking of something. Decibels have kind of largely become arbitrary. We worry about decibels in regards to clipping or not clipping, but what 0 dB is now is light years away from what 0 dB was like 20, 30 years ago. So, Winter Drake, good to have you back in. Yes, absolutely, Recluse. 100%. I don't think anyone here minds hearing more of you. Do you do LUFS with compression and stuff? So yeah, so okay, so LUFS is something, it's just a measurement of loudness. So if you put on a compressor or a limiter, which is going to hold your peak loudness in decibel form, at a certain point, but the loudness, like it keeps getting louder and louder and louder. You're not allowing it to clip because you've got a limiter on there, but you continue to turn up the volume. So it is a form of compression and gain addition at the same time. In most situations, is how you arrive at this. It's just another fine example of keeping the small waves down. No, the big waves down. That's awesome, Javar. Well, typically we would look at the long-term or integrated, which is like an average. So there's a short-term and a long-term in either the in any meter reading where you're looking at like RMS or long-term, short-term. And we look at the long-term to measure as a standard for loudness profiles, right? So if you are, for instance, going above neg 16 or neg 17 LUFS and you upload to Spotify, they're going to turn it down just a little bit, right? Or if it's really, really loud, like neg 6 or something, they're going to turn it down quite a bit because they need to keep stuff in a fairly even delivery for the listeners, because you don't want to be listening to a song at a fairly high volume and then something come in even louder and blow your speakers, right? Yeah, integrated. Yeah, the traditional numbers, decibels just don't count for loudness anymore. That's all there is to it. Cool. So on to the next. Keep interesting. And Trait, is this one you? Yeah, and Gag, if you want, I should have mentioned this before. There's a website you can go to called loudnesspenalty.com. They also have a plugin. You can also use a meter inside of your project just to kind of keep an eye on it. But you can, like, stuff that you've already bounced into, MP3s or waves or whatever, you can just drag in here. And then you kind of have a sense of like where your stuff is in comparison to what the platforms are accepting or how other people are mixing their stuff, right? Winter Drake, Mastering Perplexes Me. I've uploaded neg 14 LUFS and neg 4 LUFS tracks, and they both get turned down quieter than commercial tracks. Yeah, so it might be, makes me wonder if you're looking at the integrated or the short term, and which sites have been doing it. There are different standards for different platforms, but like neg 16 is kind of that sweet spot. If you're mastering to that loudness, then you're gonna pretty much just sail through. You're prepared for some whack tunage made primarily with the Polyon Dreadbox Medusa synthesizer. Yeah, okay. Very cool. Hey, Trem Ties, welcome in, homie. All right, cool. So let's get this one set up. 0007. I expect this to get way louder, but the waveform says this is as loud as it's going to get. Winter Drake, of course, yeah. Yeah, we're a very welcoming and open community here. We just ask that everybody keep it constructive. I think everyone here is trying to get better, so. All right. Since it's quieter, I can be heard here. The LUFS can come up on this one. The volume can come up. I've got this cranked for you guys. I'm sure you're hearing it way louder than I am right now. Yeah, so for this one, I think really what this is going to come down to for me is we've got a cool little like sequence that you're exploring. But now what do you do with that, right? So if you use this as a background element or an intro piece to something that is going to either deviate from it entirely and surprise people, or kind of focus and build around this as like this theme, right? But it definitely needs more moving pieces and change over time, right? It doesn't have to be anything that's in like incredibly complex compositionally, but it will need to entertain and increase or change interest in different ways over time, or else people won't continue listening to it, right? So the other thing is that at low volumes, listening to stuff like this is not very interesting, but at higher volumes, it becomes a lot more interesting because you can hear so much more of the depth. So one thing that you can start to play with is multiband compression, okay? Because that's going to allow you to kind of open up and squish down different parts of the sound with one tool, right? And then you can make automation or make changes through automation with that. So, you know, those parameters can be moving while your track is playing through. The other thing I would say is a really easy way to keep stuff interesting is to make a few different variations of your beat, right? If your melodic or tonal sequence is going to stay pretty rock steady throughout, then change the beat up. You can also throw in just small form embellishments, right? Like small transition effects and little bits of ear candy. And those tend to go a long way, and they don't really require or interfere with arrangement stuff, right? So if you're wanting to keep it really simple and drony like this, I think add in a few more things. The other thing is that for a main element like that, if it is going to be drony like this, is to modulate it in some way. And if you modulate more than one process over time, it can become even more interesting. So for instance, if you had a phaser on here, okay, and it was every 32 bars or something like that, it was completing one full modulation cycle. It's run through the entirety of the modulation depth that you will allow, right? And in that time, you've also got a filter that the cutoff parameter is being modulated. And maybe that's like every 16 bars. So 2 full cycles of modulation have completed in the same amount of time as one full modulation cycle of the phaser, right? So if you add just a few of those types of things and then offset the timing of those modulation sources, then you can also get stuff that's really interesting over time. So you don't have to arrive at more interest through complex composition. It can be through just some kind of interesting, playful movements with processing and stuff too. So let's see what everyone is saying in the chat. Hey, Tremties, happy birthday, dude. Happy birthday. Go pick out something from the store and tell me what you want. Just DM me on Discord. Traits is saying I tend to record mad quiet, but not on purpose. Hmm. I wonder what that is. Prefer resonance to feedback, says Paul. Clever. And Winter Drake is saying finding it too repetitive, not enough variation, and saying that as someone who made music for 4 years that sounded like this. Tremtai says, I'd say go crazy with a delay and make it ambient, or reverb with some percussion or harder drums, maybe tribal drums. This could be made into a Mad Lab kind of thing, but more variation and a top melody would really bring this home. Gag says, but how is it that this track seems more squared up with a limiter and other dynamic songs have a higher range of loudness? Okay, so Gag, this one isn't actually being limited. The volume was just really low and the loudness was never increased in any way. When we look at a waveform like this on a visual player, the peak is always going to be at the same point. So if it's a really quiet song or it's a really loud song, if there are peaks, it's going to be there. The other thing is that there could also be a subfrequency that's really high in this track, and we can't see it, like we can't hear it, but we can see it in a waveform. So there's a couple of different things that could cause that. But just because something has low volume doesn't mean that it was limited. Just like if something was really loud doesn't necessarily mean that they arrived at that loudness through limiting or compression either. It could just be a very loud sound, like an explosion or something. But yeah, it's kind of tricky when you start to learn about that stuff. You don't want to attribute all loudness to processes, because some loudness traits are just natural. And I try to stay away from compression in most things that I do until the very end, if it really needs it. There's so many other ways to treat sounds. So yeah. J.R. Ichi or J. Ricci? Welcome in. So wait, what are you producing in? What is this about the phone? I could have used the phone output, the headphone output, but I get weird calibration tunes come through the phone's port on occasion. The main output is mad quiet. What are you recording on? So yeah, modulation over time. Absolutely. I'm going to throw up this link again. Everybody in here throughout the stream gets some free sounds today. Next up is Winter Drake. All right, cool. Last time I remember you coming through here and kind of blew us away. And it was your first time sharing something with us, I think, if I remember correctly. Oh, that's right, the Medusa synth interface. Okay, so if you're bringing that into your DAW, what DAW are you using? I would personally deal with the loudness at the point of input in your DAW. So that way, while you're working with sometimes Logic, sometimes Ableton. In Logic, I'd really recommend the Overdrive plugin, because it doesn't add anything. You can just load it and hear an immediate loudness and definition difference, because it's generating harmonics for you, and you haven't even added drive yet. So as you do increase the drive there, or just the output, you're going to get more loudness, but you have kind of a balance control of, do I want to get my loudness more through saturation and the generation of harmonics, or do I just want to increase with gain, which is what that output knob would do. So Tremtize, it is a freebie just to celebrate. We're also doing a little side challenge, best beat made with the 404 pack. this month, and then the regular community challenge, which is going to be anything goes, as long as you use at least one sound from nature in your submission. It could be a beat, a full track, anything you like. So that stuff will be posted to the Discord today. So everyone is on the same page. There will be new channels for it because the competition will be open to the entire community rather than just subscribers this month. So should get a wide range of submissions, I think. All right, back to business at hand. Winter Drake is up next. Saying would love mixing feedback, especially last bit is empty, but we'll have another verse. Party Girl featuring Bimba Mania.
Just like a sad party time, doing the happy dick, it's like fine. Behavior trends, commit crimes. I wanna live before I die. I need you, baby, like I've been back at this party where we live next. Bimbos are simple, we want drugs and sex.
Okay, this is fun. Bass in the intro, pre 1 minute, it could use a little bit of saturation. Taster's choice. Hits fantastically well at 58 seconds though. So I think it's just that first intro bass. The 121, the supporting synths, can be moved just a bit further out from the middle. They're kind of in this close mid-range. Maybe you just bring them out to more of a mid-range and then bring them down just slightly. And then I think the focus on the bass is just a little bit more kind of fine-tuned there. I think the snare could use a little bit more snap to it. Maybe even add a little pitch. Maybe even add just a little bit, like a fairly narrow bandwidth accent somewhere, like maybe 4.5K or something. 203. You could layer in like a quick ARP version of the same synth, but octave jump it up one, and then bring it down a few dB. So you've got kind of like this kind of flow in that moment. You know what I'm talking about? And the bubble effects and the car alarm, there's one other sound that was a little attention grabby to me. If it's going to come in one time or maybe once towards the beginning of the track and it's going to be reprised towards the end or something, totally fine. But if it's going to happen many times, then I think we're jumping the shark. We shouldn't have all of them be at that same level because it kind of takes away from the impact, and now it's more of a distraction for whatever's happening in the song right there, right? So it could stay at that same loudness if the thing was interesting each time, but nobody likes the same joke being told again and again and again during the same beer, right? So I would say play with those sounds a little bit, like twist them up and like make them pitch bend or stutter them or something if they're going to stay at that level, or maybe just like the very first one and the very last one of each of those is at that higher level and the rest of them are more like sneak attacks or something, or maybe they're in different spots in the stereo field or something. Bring a little bit of interest to it. What else did I have for you? Oh, I wanted to go back and I wanted to listen to the vocal level volume mix wise in the intro, or in this first section. Yeah, so the male vocal sample around 20 seconds or so, I feel is kind of low, and it should sit more on top. Those ARPs and the car alarm both seem significantly louder than the vocal sample at that point. So if the vocal sample isn't supposed to be the main thing, you could even put that off more onto the sides, or like spread that a bit more, or get more delay going and take the bottom end of the delay out, so it's kind of like this expansive thing or something where it does eventually kind of grab more attention than the other stuff. Other than that, not a whole lot for you because the rest of the mix is actually sounding pretty solid. I know you wanted mostly mixed feedback on this one. Side note though, the arrangement, the palette, all of that stuff is really good. Very good composition. Baseline and arc clash. Let me see. Let me see what people are saying. Let me see what people are saying. Tremties is saying ARP does not fit with your scales. Sounds really fluid sound-wise, very nice mix, but it's very center-oriented. A bit more stereo would work well to bring this to life. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at with the supporting sounds being moved out a little bit more, and the play with the vocal sample, maybe with some delays or something. I agree. Carlock sound is fun. Recluse says, I love this. I play around with the main ARP synth and bring its effects such as delay, hyper, flanger, filtering, etc. tastefully, adding dynamic change while still leaving it grounded in the track. Yeah, I'm going to go back. I'm going to listen to this bass for just a second. No, I think it's fun. I think it's playful, and I think that there's an obvious relationship to the two, or between the two. It'd be nice to have a little bit more call and response though, like that one moment where bump 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 bump, and then you've got that ratchet up. There could be something else with the other synth. That could be like a dot 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 dot, right, as that's like going up or something. A little bit more back and forth between elements like that is always fun. Oh, no.
Just like a sad party time, doing the happy dick, it's like fine. Behavior trends, commit crimes. I wanna live before I die.
Yeah, I think the bubble pop needs to come out of the center. Cool. Okay. So note wise, we're good. All right. Recluse says, made this last night with no intent of working on a new track, but it started sounding promising. Only an evening's worth of work, so nowhere near polished. 3 hours of project time so far. Cool. Oh, Winter Drink, thank you. Definitely come back with more. I like your style.
I can see the sky now. I can feel the sunshine on my face. I can feel the wind to change. I can see the ghost of yesterday going another way. Oh, 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 oh. Now I'm getting older. I don't wanna waste my time again. Better get it rolling. Why don't you come over with me? Oh, 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 oh. Don't wanna lose another day. Oh, 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 oh. Why don't you come over with me? Oh, 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 oh. So come with me. I'll take it fully. I'm here to stay. Don't take it for granted. Oh, 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 oh. Don't lose another day. Why don't you come over? Oh, oh.
Um, welcome in, Heidi. Dude, Recluse, I like hearing the early whip. I really do. I like hearing how the stuff is sounding in the beginning for you. Like I can hear that you haven't leveled things yet. Um, I like it. Yeah, I like the raw uh, moment that we find this in, and I like the width on the kick. The little triple tap there, where it's like you can just feel it on the edges of both your ears at the same time. It's very nice, and the dynamic changes, great. Um, as always, it's just got a ton. It's just got a ton of value, man. Uh, there's so much good that's always pouring out of you, and you're making really good decisions, and you're obviously in a very good flow right now. What's up with the vocals on this one? Are these splice, or is this what? Acute, welcome in. Rokusai, welcome in, brother. How are you? Paintball washer, how you doing, homie? Happy Friday, y'all. Good old splice, yeah. Okay, so similar to what I say to Tom all the time, Masters by Iggy in the chat, that you guys both have a knack with splice. You both have a way of building around the things that you're getting the quick little, ooh, this would be cool to work with. Moments of inspiration. You really know how to develop around things. It's always quite impressive. Splice, says Andremia. Yeah, this is why I'm always so excited to hit play with you. This is great. I just want to hear where you go with this. I don't really have much for you feedback wise because you tend to hit some really, really good sweet spots when you send stuff through. And now that I've listened to it one time, I've got a perspective on it when you come back with the volume mix on this one too. Richichi, I hope I'm not butchering this name, is up next, and this one is called Now. They're originally a different key, but pitch corrected and layered with some spectral morphine to match chords and ground it more. Oh, I got it. Nice. Excellent. I'm on fire this week. Have not butchered that many names this week, and that always feels good. Yeah, I kind of figured. I kind of figured that's what you were referring to. Yeah, I know you've definitely got a way of fitting it into the mix. Like you, I see you. Oh. Hello. What do we have here?
I see the world through my eyelids, feeling the dark till all I touch is gold like my design. I'm trying to focus, peace quiet, need silence. My guidance, my world will brighten when I find it. People lie, in numbers lie too. Who the fuck am I gonna trust for the truth? I'm undercut for loot, thrown under bus in pursuit. Uppercuts, draw thunder, us applause, and it's a root of all evil. They only stall at what's illegal. I'm so appalled, looking down the hall of this steeple as he looks down at it all. So gaudy and so regal, the crown nailed to the cross, so powerful and feeble. Footsteps echo down the only sound, looking at it all as it falls to the ground. Under his breath, thanks God that they're heaven now, thanking the heavens that they're in the clouds now. And I don't feel so proud now. The voices are getting really, really loud now. Walking it back to where I was found now. I don't like the sound now. I don't like the sound now. And I don't feel so proud now. The voices are getting really, really loud now. Walking it back to where I was found now. I don't like the sound now. I don't like the sound now.
All right, so Tremtai says, haven't heard this kind of vocal over trap beat before, and it works really well. It's different, and I'm about it. And Dremia says the recording could use a gain boost and high-end cut. Roku Sai says, same, I like this. Very bold moves vocal-wise, almost spoken word in a way. Yeah, I appreciate this. This is like everything that you guys bring every week is art. But every once in a while you hear someone take a step out, right? And it can be a freaky thing to do. And that's where all the really cool stuff is, right? This is one of those things. I think that the only thing that I would say, other than the imbalance between the vocals and the mix and the 808, like I think that those things could have a better volume relationship. Like we could balance the perceived loudness of each one of those elements. I do understand though that this is a very simple project, right? You've got the backing beat and you've got the 808 in your vocals. So I would just say that if there was a better balance there between them, and then some playing with like some tasteful vocal processing. Nothing trippy or heady. More of maybe on the intellectual side of this. Um, just some subtle doubling, pitch shifting, right? Just to introduce this like kind of phase type stuff, I think would be very cool. And maybe some tasteful filter play with little delay splashes or something in a couple of spots. But really, the only reason I bring that up is simply to keep pace with the kind of affected beat that is being paired with this. But I agree with the chat. I think that it's original, and I think that it's definitely got a vibe, and I think that it's one of those sounds that you want to hear in some kind of continuity. Like I would love to hear more of this in an album format, right? I remember when one of my friends, um, where was it? Oh, I was getting ready for a class. I was putting stuff together for some kind of a presentation for the class, and someone comes into the classroom, and I've got this music playing um, over the big speakers, and they were like, um, "Which class did this come out of? The vocals are all wrong. Like this sounds. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is good." And I was like, "It's Kid Cudi. Like, I don't care what you think. Like, it's catchy." There are certain combinations of vocal deliveries with music that just get you, and I think that you're onto something here. So yeah, going for the crispy sound is cool. It's like, do it once, and is that a mistake? But do it twice, and now it's an artistic decision. And you do it three times, and you've got a style. And you do it four times, you've got like a signature sound. You know what I mean? So the more you lean into something like that, if it's really what you're chasing, just persevere. That's what I would say. Persevere and find the sweet spots, and try and figure out if you like those crispy elements to be crispy perpetually, right? Is it this omnipresent position, or is it something that is a crescendo point? Like, is there a range of modulation in crispiness in your stuff? And do you reserve that for certain moments, or is this just something that you just have, right? Um, yeah, I like this. I like this. I'd love to hear more from you. Mm. Guadalupe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bring by more. Bring by more, and participate in the community challenges too. I think you'd bring some fun stuff. All right, Acute is up next. Well, thank you, and thanks for being here. Happy Friday. Speaking of community, you all get this today. It's from one of my other sound design labels. All right, this one is VYB Machine from Acute. Yeah, it is, and it only gets better. It's true, because of people like you, Roku. Big love, homie. Hope the doc is treating you well over there. Been busy. Oh, by the way, that link leads you to some really, really unique drum sounds. So grab them while they're there. It's just for today. Here we go. Wow. Oh, come on. Come on, man. Acute. This was great. This was great. As you can probably tell in the chat, people were really, really liking this. Very nice reveal. And yeah, the ending was great, wasn't it, Heidi? All right, let's run through this. I think there are a couple of things that can make this even better. And then I've got just like some personal preference stuff that I'm going to make heard here. I'll put these over here for you. Make it easier on you. Okay, so nice little retro flex there. I felt like that was like a, oh, I can do this for the intro. It was nice. And at 25 seconds, I'm just kind of curious. At 25 seconds, just how many different influences and styles have been fused together in just the first 25 seconds? It was really, really fun immediately. Like immediately. All right, so first thing to tune into on the mix, I think, is that the mid-lows across the board, like across the entirety of the mix, are a little thick. And I think that this and volume control, loudness control, are the keys to greater clarity, definition, depth, and impressiveness in this one. I'll kind of run through this. You can tighten the EQ on some individual tracks. I also think that multiband compression would be a really good thing to explore with a lot of the sounds in this mix, because it really helps you kind of tune and tighten sounds in bandwidths instead of just as a whole. And it's responsive, right? Not static like most EQs. I'd watch your sub cut point. That's the other thing here is I feel like at times the frequencies that are being allowed through, um, you could redistribute some of that energy to serve up other frequencies more clearly. Yelperp. Yelperp. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you being here. Happy Friday. Dude, 145. So many swooping and intertwining bits here. It's fun. Volume automation. I think volume automation, more of it in more places, more changes and dynamic surges, not just changes, but surges. Like there were so many different points where I was like, oh man, if that had a really dramatic curve on that right there, oh, just chef's kiss. But as it is right now, it's just, that's great. But it would be more, it'd be even more better if it was just, because that means that I don't have words for it anymore. And this is really fun. So I would personally, I would go to town on this track. I would go back and rework and massage stuff, knowing that your mix-wise, knowing that your arrangement, your sound design, your sound palette that you're working with, your entire concept is really, really spot on, and you really shouldn't change any of that. So like mission critical right now is how do I increase clarity and get every last little bit into people's ear holes before this track ends. Okay, so the pumping, the side chain, the ducking that you've got going with compression here, it's touching a little bit too much of the entirety of your project, I think. And I think that it's doing it all at the same time. And that kind of synchronous suck, you know what it's doing? Since it's never really fully released for any period of time, you know what it's doing? It's kind of constricting the entire thing. So like it's got a vibe, it's got a pump, but it's on too much and too consistently across the board. If we were to offset those things, the depth in which it is cutting into the volume on each of the tracks could be different, right? And the release on each of the tracks could be a little bit different, right? So and you might even want to play around with not pumping just a couple more tracks in a couple of spots and seeing what that feels like, because you can kind of alternate what is being um, um, adjusted, right? 305, I would double up on the transition effect here and be bold. Just drop the bottom out. I know that you're like, oh, 30 seconds of just nothing. I don't know if I can handle this. But also, man, that's a nice dynamic moment right there. And there's a lot to process in this song. I would say dotted delays are fun. You're about to go into a really fun time like adventure here after this 30-second moment. And kind of teasing that or foreshadowing that with just a couple small, like isolated sounds with some dotted delays in there, especially if one was still kind of resolving when you get back to business. I think it'd be really cool. All right, so takeaway here, dotted delay, something to shift the groove in a couple of spots, saturation, because saturation is your friend. So instead of putting a top on it, so to speak, in a few places and kind of holding it down, I would go the opposite direction in those spots. I would go expansive and open it up, generate some more harmonics, multiband compression, and EQ to tighten up your mid lows. Watch your low end, your sub cut point, right? Maybe roll it up to like 40, 48, somewhere in there. It feels like maybe it's open up all the way down to like 30 or so, and it doesn't need to be. It needs to be more nimble, I think. And then volume, and then more stank face happens, I think, as a result. So let's see what people in the chat are saying. Besides, they loved it and it was fun. Birds of Prey, says Roku. Acute always loves a melodic perk. Love it. These 8 bars, though, these 8 empty bars, they haunt me. I don't know, man. It's nice. It's nice to have a little break and just kind of catch a breath and then get back into it. All right, Roku says, I'd say forget loudness when treating a track like this. Don't care about a limiter. Just turn it off. Get every element shiny and crispy. This kind of music is all about the details. Your baseline volume levels are good, but some little balancing here and there. Like OhmLab said, automate the crap out of everything. Modulate till you become a Rokusai and have 20 automation channels per track. Yep. What he said. What he said. Paul says, solid. Tremtai says, nice. Awesome. Funkiness says, Javar. Marimbas are so fun. This is a Neon Cruiser track, says Tremtai. Yeah, this is good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. You just saying, gotcha. Inspires confidence to hear. I'll pick and choose the elements to cut out of that sidechain effect. I have some roomier synths here and there. Could sound much wider with less or no pump. Roku says, yes, I automate my sidechain with the on-off switch lots in my tracks. Yeah. Hey, nice. Yeah, bring it through when it's finished, indeed. Yeah. Recluse says, I used to use sidechain compression on the kick, but now I manually volume automate to have more control and not just lock to the transient of the kick. Boom. Yeah, it's there's so many different ways to do it, right? You know, Ghost tracks used to be all the rave like 10 years ago, where you would just create a custom little track that did your ducking for you, or multiple tracks, and then you're setting up your gating patterns or whatever. And I feel like there's less of that happening now, which is kind of interesting, right? So many other things have gotten so complex, but not there. It's good to have control. All right, traits. This is 0009. Let's see what this one sounds like. This track is work in progress, and the middle goes on for a bit too long. I think I'm fairly good at developing a base for tunes or a foundation or jingle, whatever you call it, but I feel I'm heavily lacking in mixing and mastering. If anyone is interested in playing around with my tracks, use as little or as much as you want. If you want to make it your own, perhaps I am naive and these contain not much to a professional, but yeah, feel free to directly criticize me and this message. I want to learn at whatever cost, even if it's my pride. Someone be real with me. I love it. I love that attitude. Let's do this. Hey, Tom is here. What are you doing up in the middle of the night, homie? Good to see you. Well, walking home. All right, homie. It's good to have you here. All right, here we go. Click that link for some free sounds. Ooh, now this one's spicy. The other one was quiet. going to needle drop this a bit since you said the middle drags. I'm going to drop it over here. All right, traits. I know this got a few more seconds on here. This instrument right here is a really good candidate for compression. We were talking about loudness and how things get louder, and what compression is actually for is for tapping down peaks, right? Originally, it was a Johnny on the spot tool. It meant that you could put a compressor on a track so you didn't have to have your hand there doing this the whole time, right, in the studio. So think of compression as volume automation, and it's reducing the highest peaks by a certain amount based upon a ratio that you set. And it's triggered when the audio signal reaches a certain decibel level, which you set as the threshold. So that right there is one way that you can kind of help wrangle the dynamics of this one, because you've obviously got some very peaky moments where some of these notes are way louder than others, and you could just bring down the volume of the whole track too. That would be fine. I would also just recommend EQs on everything as you're getting a handle on all of this. You don't need compression on everything, but you should put an EQ on everything. And I'm not saying that everything in the world needs an EQ as you're working, but while you're learning, it is so good to correlate what you see and what you hear and what you're beginning to understand, right? Because the more reinforcement and testing you have with those relationships, the more you're going to eliminate like the falsehoods and the erroneous assumptions and the things that aren't really working, and really hone in on the things that are working for you. So the more of that manual frequency control that you're practicing, the better, because the more you're controlling it, the more you understand which parts of the sound are contributing to what overall sound you're getting. So yep, EQs all around. Yeah, I need to EQ my life, man. Oh man. Kong, welcome in. Mango, welcome in. And Plate, welcome in. Thank you all for the follows. Let's run through a little bit of feedback on this for you. In regards to just general interest in stuff, same as the last track. I know that this one was way louder, but the same principles apply in regards to like growing something into something a bit bigger. And as who was saying, it was a Tremtize saying, well, Tom says I'd mostly add distortion and limit the crap out of it. Tremtize says I'd love for the keys to be saturated. Tremtize also says you could wash out the drums and make it super 80s. It's got that vibe. Yeah, so I think oh, hey, thank you, Tom. I think that what you've got here is like another really good beginning, and now it's just about play, and it doesn't have to always be about the orchestration and composition stuff. Like I was saying before, a lot of it can come from what are you doing with how you're affecting your sounds now that you have them in an arrangement window. And sometimes you can get more from that, as like getting comfortable with making changes, making maneuvers, and having some of those things be highly successful, I think that that is a better payoff and reward oftentimes than trying to force something through to um, the end or to completion and like forcing it into some sort of a structure that it's not in currently. Does that make sense? So I would continue to chase your vibe, because the more you are personally engaging with your stuff and really vibing with it, the more you're going to feel where it's supposed to go next. And you got to remember that these creations are yours, right? And if you get into that position of being a conduit for what you're creating, instead of trying to manage it and like control everything based upon other stuff that you're hearing or input that you're getting from other people, it's you're meandering away from the source of the inspiration, right? And it should really be about the inspiration, where something goes, because that's how you get organic flow and groove and stuff, right? So that would be my recommendation for you at this point. Put an EQ on everything. Start to learn the relationship of sound, frequency, and also volume relationships. Play a lot with volume automation, so you can sit back, close your eyes, and listen, and not like lean forward and play with your mouse and make adjustments on the fly, right? Because it's really hard to have proper perception of things that way. So those are decent bits of advice at this point, I think, for you. I'm Lush. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Recluse says, a good blurb to remember about compression. The compressor is like your mother. Threshold, the level she asks you to turn the music down. Ratio, how much you turn down the volume after she shouts at you. Attack, how fast you react. Release, how fast you turn the volume back as soon as she closes the door. Exactly. Tom says, I have 5 mothers then. That comes in a variety of flavors. Oh man, my FET mom smacks my face a little bit more. My VCA mom is a jack of all trades. My Octo mom is very smooth and slow. I like it. I like it. Yeah, that's great. That is a great analogy for compression, Recluse. Very good. Yeah, yeah. So Kong brings up the idea of reference tracks, reference material, right? Comparing your stuff to other people's, and you can do that with, you know, production quality levels, dynamic changes, the types of effects that they use on certain types of sounds. Like if you really slow your mind down and really focus on individual elements in a song, or a jingle or something, you can learn so much from it once you start to wrap your mind around what each one of the individual processes is actually doing, right? What is phase actually doing, and what is tremolo actually doing to the sound? And then going in and doing that stuff manually a few times so you can really kind of connect those dots and complete that circuit. And then when you're listening to things, you can identify those things with names, right? And once you know the name of something and the mechanics backing it, then you can actually start to get intentional results from things. So reference stuff is it's very important. Yo, what up, Becky? How you doing? All right, guys, let's do this next one. Compressor go burr. All right, Tremties is up next. Says, okay, I brought this into live stream and she was digging it, but I'm kind of wondering what you feel about this mix-wise. I got this idea to make some late 80s, 90s techno thing a la Zombie Nation with some freestyled vocals on top. Another experiment in this process of learning stuff and trying out new stuff. Does it start too abrupt? I'm a little unsure. Cool. Okay, so this one is Pointless Industrial Thing by Tremties. You know, when you're in the club, especially when you're young and you're like, wait a minute, is the tempo changing or is it starting? That was a nice little tease there. This felt kind of like high school. Drum ties, so thank you. Drums, more punch. You're looking for mostly 80s, or I mean, mostly mixed feedback on this, right? So more punch, please. Saturation to get there, I think. And a little slapjack, little slap back, delay into a room verb as well. I would make it throb, right? Just make sure that you take the sub stuff out. You can leave some 100 in there on that delay, but maybe roll it out of the verb to get kind of the cool effect going. Vocals, I would saturate that as well to get it really up on top of the mix and give it kind of a little bit of a grit and accentuate the like digital edge that you're giving it. And I would also play with delays on it, both short and long form. Honestly, I'd have a couple things kind of repeating over while new words are being delivered. And I would also do a couple of spots where it was very short form, like borderline comb filter with like a pitch bend up as it automates or something like that in a couple of spots. I think it'd be really fun. And I think that the melodic synth on the right channel, I think it'd be cool to have a rolling filter on it. Nothing too crazy, but maybe something that isn't 100% predictable. So maybe two modulators on there, right? One modulating the cutoff over a period of time, and the other one modulating the rate of that main controlling LFO or something like that, slowly, subtly. And yeah, I like the decision to mess with time at 2:04. So let's see what the chat is saying here. Might need to write some actual lyrics for this, says Trim Ties. DJ and Pericles here. How many days are left? How many days are left of the job? Kong says could have a 1 to 2 second reversed reverb tail in the beginning to make it feel less abrupt. I agree. I'm Lush. You are here now. I'm glad you're here now. I'm just seeing your comment about I wish I would have found this channel sooner, so chill. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday for you. And hit the Discord too. If you're subbed, you get a free sound pack every month, whatever you're inspired to make with it in the community challenge, or when you submit it in the community challenge, rather, you get another free sound pack. So lots of good reasons to be here. Not just free stuff, but good people, good learning. Tom, you're still awake. This is great. Ooh, New Order meets Daft Punk, says Saf. Spot on. 2 points to Saf. I feel that. New Order meets Daft Punk. Like. Mango Oat says the amount of feedback given here is ace. That's awesome. Thank you. And great feedback too, says I'm Lush. Thank you for the love, paintball washer. Always good to have you here, homie. And thank you for spamming, Tom. I appreciate that. Everybody click the link for the free sounds. It's only there for 1 day. It's a crazy wild pack of drum sounds that are not drum sounds from one of my other sound design labels called Sound Freaks. Everything that you find in that was made from, if I remember correctly, like a finger and a pen or a pencil hitting my desk. There's a lot of different drum kits and sampler instruments already built for you in there too, so you can just load them up, hit the ground running. Jazz Life, welcome back. It's been a minute. Happy Friday to you. Always down to play some slapjack. I haven't even thought about slapjack in forever. I'm going to play slapjack with the kiddo this weekend. Jazz Life, if you want this kind of feedback, drop a link, homie. Roku says best feedback on Twitch. Drop it in the Discord preferably so I don't lose it in the chat, please. Oh man, okay, so now Saf is saying very Depeche Mode, New Order, and Daft Punky, and I agree with that. 3 points to Saf. 2 weeks from today is the last day for DJ Empirical at his day job, and then he leaves and becomes just an audio pro for the rest of his life. It's amazing. Big up, Somi. Kong says, by the way, OhmLab, is your OBS Streamlab volume settings intentionally this low? Your voice volume peaks at like neg 20 and the music peaks at like neg 20, it seems. No, it's more just based on what the submitted music is doing. I don't have any filters on or anything. If something's really low, I turn it up for you guys. And if it's really loud, I turn it down. But otherwise, I leave it. So that way the feedback makes sense. Hey, excellent. Paintball says, these streams keep me motivated to make music. I love that I can get some honest feedback and stuff that I can do to actually make it better, as opposed to just this sucks. Yeah, dude, we will give you feedback on Egyptian rat screw as well. Seriously, though, what is Egyptian rat screw? Is this like a card game that I need to know about? And if it can be explained in like 2 sentences, that means that I could probably play it with my kid, which would make it even better. Recluse says, love the community and listening to all these great artists makes me so sad to say I haven't released a track in 2 years, but communities like this give me inspiration. You know, Recluse, if you were to start releasing the stuff that you've been bringing through here, I think not only would it do good things for you, you know, professionally or whatever, but I think just mentally, it is so good for all of us to understand what kind of value we provide to other people in our lives, right? And man, you provide a lot of value. Like in this community you do, and I know that if other people were hearing this stuff outside the community, they would want more. So just gonna leave that there. Nano, yo, you were first today. Gotta hit the VOD. Good stuff, dude. The alien was truly alien. Seth says, OhmLab is very precise with his feedback. Plate says, awesome stream. Thank God I found this. Well, thank you, Plate. Everyone in Twitch could come up, right? I do have my voice a little low in general, huh? Well, then here, let me just turn it up. Is that better? I just don't want to hit red. Big brain memes. Plate, if we have time, yes. Let's see here. How many do we have? I've got, we just listened to Tremties. So we're up to Heroes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We might have time. So if you want to put one more in there, while I close it after that. Nano says, I never listen to OhmLab's feedback. Why would I ever listen to 20 years of badassery? Oh, dude, that makes me feel so young. Thank you. I feel like I just got 40 pounds lighter and 3 inches taller. I'm going to sit up straight for that compliment right there. 20 years. Thank you. Appreciate you, homie. Hope you're doing well over there. Let's do this. One card per person, one at a time, as fast as reasonably possible. Build a pile in the middle of 2 to 6 players. Slap the deck to capture the cards on straights, flushes, or pairs. 3 or more cards. Capture the entire deck to win. Nice. Zev Music is back in the chat. Please follow and will spam. Throw in links. Hero, you are up next.
hell, boy. Feeling with some shells, boy. I just fucked your main hoe. I was like a Saint Larry, and my time gonna come, cause I'm so damn fly. I get so damn high, all the way to the motherfucking sky. Now look what do we have? Racks all in the bag. Then play he get tagged. Then play that's his ass. I used to go outside, had no friends in class. I was in the bathroom, looking at big booty ass. Now I got more rest of your daddy, your mama. Yeah, I'm getting commas. Dark skin like I'm Obama. In the trap where you finna find us. Dark skin bitch, ugly as shit. Light skin bitch suck on my dick. But they both twins, so they on that motherfucking Michael Jackson shit. I was put your ass right in the lip. Got a 4-5 minute shit break through your bone. I'm fucking your bitch when there's no one at home. She called me upset that she was alone. She a white girl, so I'm finna fuck that pussy. I ride around with a motherfucking gushy. Nigga say that he wants some smoke. I'm like, Lil Uzi bitch, cause you better not push. I woke up early, nigga. I ain't need to fuck your bitch. She talking that shit, but she sucking my dick. These niggas be hating cause they don't know shit. I got the money, yeah, I'm up in this bitch. I'm up like the motherfucking sky. I'm up, bitch, I could fall and die. I'm fucking your bitch till she motherfucking cry. I'm getting so motherfucking faded and high.
All right, so as far as the mix of this one goes, good beat choice. The vocals are a little hot for it. I'd bring up the beat to get it more in line, and then I would treat these vocals. They sound really dry and recorded and just kind of tossed on top. So put an EQ on them, tighten it up a bit, get some of the low end removed, remove some of that noise if you can, and then play around with a little bit of stuff, maybe a little bit of filter modulation over the top or something to make it a little more interesting. Saf says I would try to bring the beat up a bit. Tremtai says, time to work on that flow, empowering your delivery. Practice those lyrics will make sound less like you're reading the lyrics and more like you're actually just spitting them out naturally. Yeah, I would say, here's what I would say about the delivery of all of this, is that, you know, when you go see a really good performance on stage, whether it's a play or, you know, a music concert or something like that, it's all memorized. Right? But it's not just memorized, it's acted out and performed. And you know how your mom would always tell you when you were young, like, make sure you smile on your phone, like people can hear when you're smiling. You don't want to sound like a lame ass, right? So I would just remind you that all of that stuff translates through the mic, right? The smiling, the jumping around, the really having it memorized and feeling it and delivering it instead of just getting it out. So that is the main thing that I would work on. It will level you up faster than anything else in this business. You got to own what you're writing, regardless of what it is. All right, so voice equals heart. All right, next up is plate. Chakra DMB, welcome in. Sydney, Jane, and Golden Lambo, Your Case Plate Remix. Trippy image here.
Cause I just want
Hmm. Yeah, this is solid. Um, you know that I either just don't dig it or I'm digging it if I'm not writing anything for a while. And I just wasn't writing anything for a while. Sometimes I have a quick reaction to like certain frequency mixes. Um, and I need to just sit and take it in to see how much of it is intentional and what's coming next in the song to know. That said, I would sweep your mix for mid-high resonance and mid-low bloat. So, and this is pretty common when you're not EQing individual elements entirely. Um, and by entirely, I mean making sure that every single sound in your mix is treated with EQ in one way or another to make sure that it has its own place in the mix and that it's assisting in making room for other things in the mix at all times, especially with a high energy and broad frequency spectrum song like this, because you've got a lot of different frequencies in play together at the same time. So it makes it even that much more important to manage those frequencies. The other thing is volume relationship and stereo position. There are a couple of spots where I think after you go in and you manage the EQ a little bit tighter on some of the individual sounds, you can go through and pay closer attention to the volume relationships at different times and transitions in the song. And you can make those a little bit more dramatic, I think, than they already are. And I think that it would be even more of an emotionally impactful song. Right now, it's really fun, and I think that it could mean a bit more to folks if they felt some of these changes a little bit more uh, than hearing them. Right now, I feel like a lot of these are being heard, and they could be felt a little bit more. Just a little bit more drama in the type of automation curve you're using on your volume and that kind of thing. 808 subcut point can come up slightly. It feels like it's maybe sitting just below 30 hertz or something. And also maybe that it's like a 24 per dB octave curve, or maybe it's sitting around like 30 with a 36 or something like that. But you could bring that up, I think, like maybe all the way up to 40, 38 to 40, and you would still feel a fair bit of punch in there. And personally, I'd A/B that with something that was cut up almost all the way up to 50, just to feel what the difference was in that, because I feel like some of the mid-low bloat that we're hearing is spillover from the 808. So I'd move that cut point up slightly, and then I'd also scoop the mid slightly on that. That bell is dope, by the way. Very well placed. It's boosted and in 30 to 50 and boosted at 3000. Yeah, don't do that. Just don't do that, because you're already going to boost everything, right? You're already going to boost everything in the master. You just don't need to. And subs work against you ultimately because they consume the large majority of energy resources, and you need energy to reproduce sound. They're also just big drunken bastards, those low end frequencies, because they take a long time to get out of the way for other frequencies. And you've got a lot of bright sounds in here, which are very swift and nimble sounds, and they just smack into these guys. So the less of them being present, the better, really. It's just there for support in a track like this, in my opinion, and to really fill it out on a big system. Yeah. And you can trust that you've got plenty. You've got plenty. Primaudia says, just stopping by quickly, don't have anything to submit just yet, but I've been listening to the advice and really like the honesty. We'll be back soon. Hey, cheers. Thanks for swinging by. Good to have you here. So basically under 600, I boost in mastering. Well, no, it's more, or under 60. No, it's more that you probably don't ever really want to boost that. If you already have frequency presence there, what you want to make sure that you never do is make it more dominant than the rest of your mix, because that means that more energy is being distributed to lifting those frequencies up and pushing them out the cone of the speaker than is the entirety of your track. Like the two aren't even close, because there's just so much more energy consumption low down. So you just got to balance that out. Honestly, if you have, let's just open up a random EQ here and say that like you've got your subs peaking up like this and the rest of your track is over here, none of your plugins in your DAW understand what you're making or what it sounds like. The only thing they're aware of is signal strength as it comes into them and signal strength as it is leaving. And that is it. That's the only thing that they understand. So what this does when you have a really big peak like that down low is it triggers all of your plugins in the wrong ways. You're going to be kind of muting your track because the subs are going to constantly be triggering compression, for instance, and that's going to bring everything down. So I would avoid boosting down low pretty much all of the time, with the exception of special effects. Because there's always an exception to those kinds of rules, right? All right, let's see where we are with what people are saying here. Mm-hmm. Hmm? Yeah, people are loving this. People are loving this. Lots of nice oh yeahs and love these and this is a great vibe and this is awesome. Good work. Good work. Good stuff. All right. See if there's anything else that we should respond to. You are welcome for the feedback. Roku says, I almost had to arrest someone tonight. Got sketchy there. It's okay. It's okay, Roku. I think we talked him down. I think we talked him down in the subs. We're not going to abuse ears or frequencies here. All right. Andreste. This one is called Alien version 1 sample. This is great art. Heidi, take care.
When it comes to aliens,
Ooh.
there's some things I just can't tell you. Well, you didn't tell us all that. Right. His eyes might blink in the wrong direction. Alien specimens in space. Alien specimens in space.
Tom, take care, brother. Get good rest over there. This was great. Who's this in the chat? Is this Mango? All right. Here's what I got to say about this. This is original and it's fun and it's cute and it's quirky. And there is this kind of infectious nature to the palette of sounds that you've built up. Love the theme. Love the pace. That wiggly little synth is really the hero throughout the song. I just really like the playful energy. I think that's the hero here. Recluse was hearing a high-end hiss at 40 seconds. A high-end a bit spicy, says Andremia. Am I describing you, says Becky? Fun and cute and whatever else you said? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The lyrics are from an Obama interview about aliens. Yeah, I would take out some of the low end on his voice, so and then add a little overdrive to it or something to help lift it up and put it on top so we can hear the dialogue just a little bit better. But I love all the Becky in your song. All the wiggly, cute, fun movement and yeah, it was just like a fun, cute kind of sound. That's awesome. Sounds like the kind of vibe I'm making normally. Upbeat, silly, fun, boots and cats music. Yeah. I would ever so slightly clean up around the edges of the samples. No deal breaker. I just dive deep on that stuff. DJ Empirical, yep. You can't escape. You can't escape. We're all stuck in the big Boston house. There is no escape. Seriously, though, it's really fun. I don't like to critique too much on the stuff that sounds really, really fun, but I would agree with DJ Empirical that more EQ on the individual tracks is going to tighten everything up. And again, the feedback on the dialogue sample to bring it up on top. I am Boston. Trim ties. You're in Boston, but are you in Boston House? What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive, right? Mango's saying, yeah, still learning some mixing techniques. Thanks, you bet. Respect the gazelle. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. And welcome back, Becky. One of us. One of us. Montaguilla. Montaguilla. Oh, we got to close this down. Luckily, we got Shocker DMB in before we did that. Next up, Paintball. 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 I'm giving you a new name. for no reason other than just I've been talking a lot and words aren't coming out anymore. Paintball says, sounding a bit goofy, did have a cold while recording and was very high. Awesome. So this one is called First Time Trying Vocals, Not My Beat.
Like 11, going to the upside down. Going to the upside down like 11 holding nines and we up right now. Yeah, we won't come down. Popping jokes like a washed up clown. Popping jokes like there's Annie's down our throats. Yeah, I think it's time to go. Yeah, cause they know I wanna go. Yeah, we never going broke. From young, yeah, I knew this would happen. Too much money, never needed go trapping. Blue cheese knew me, now they clapping. All of a sudden the fake friends through the cracks in. Yeah, I don't think I could ever be the same. All this money's polluting my brain. She got a dragon that she's trying to tame. And if she manages, then I'ma make it rain. Going to the upside down like 11 holding nines. Are we up right now? Yeah, we won't come down. Popping jokes like a washed up clown. Like a washed up clown. We ain't going down. Popping jokes like a clown. Yeah, you hear that sound. Going to the upside down like 11 holding nines. Cause we up right now. Yeah, we won't come down. Popping jokes like a washed up clown. Yeah, I think it's time to go. Yeah, cause they know I wanna go. Yeah, we never going broke. Yeah, we never going broke. Going to the upside down like 11 holding nines. Cause we up right now. Yeah, we won't come down. Popping jokes like a washed up clown.
Man, all right, so this is not what we normally hear from you. Um, and I hear you about the like you're out of your normal zone. Uh, I like it. I think it's fun, and it's always interesting to me when people try to do vocal stuff, and how much it changes everything they do. And I think it has to do with the fact that we're all so flippin' self-conscious about our voice because the music that we all do have a shared experience with is flippin' incredible, right? It's all so freaking spot on, and the stuff that isn't is kind of like a meme, right? And we don't want to be that. So kudos for putting yourself out there, and kudos for doing it at all. I think you're doing all right with it. I think that there's some production work, learning that you need to do with like what do you do with your vocals now that you have them. Like if this is going to be something that you pursue, I would find a couple of ways in which you can process your vocals that you feel are representing you, right? In the way that you want to be represented, and really, really work on dialing that in. I think that your voice with this style could do well with some doubling and pitch shifting, right? Or something like that. You could play around with some auto tune stuff. But I think that some layering is probably going to be in your future if you're going to kind of pursue this type of stuff. Um, yeah, this is just different. I was not expecting this from you today. Not at all. I would also add just a little bit of something to the vocal delivery, other than just like, um, like doubling or pitch shifting or whatever. I would probably also add little embellishments, like tiny little quick filter sweeps at the end of lines and stuff. Just kind of make it splashy and a little bit more playful. It does seem kind of almost kind of somber in its delivery, and I think it could be um, a little more up. I hear you. You've got a cold while you're recording this too. So, um, making all these songs with vocal melodies and no vocals. So I've started pursuing this thing and reaching out to either do collabs or tuning text to speech or something instead of just hitting a wall each time. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very self-conscious about my voice. It's robotic. Dremia. Recluse says, I will process vocals all day, but I'd never touch a mic. Nano says, I'm from the upside down. Roku says, when I get stoned, I become the universe, melt away and transcend death and the ego. Then it comes crashing down, and I'm realizing I'm eating from the Nutella jar with a spoon. And the neighbors are banging the walls. I should turn down the music. Plus, my phone has 7 missed calls and such. Yeah, right? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I would say I think my best feedback on this, honestly, paintball, is do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and start to get really comfortable with it. And the more comfortable you get, the more ideas you're going to have. And it's going to take a little while to chip away at getting used to doing the vocal thing. But you'll think that it's less goofy the more that you do it, most likely. It'll never go away completely, but whenever you do vocals, emotion when you sing matters. As OhmLab mentioned earlier, smiles, attitude, etc. matters. Unless you're going monotone on purpose, you will sound monotone. Yeah, Tremtai says, I'm not joking. I was humming this melody when it ended, so really nice work on that. Yeah, I would agree with that. You've got a really nice progression there, and it's infectious, right? It's absolutely going to stick with you. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff, dude. Good stuff. Oh, subs down and wrangle the mid lows. I'm not getting into the mix on this one with you, honestly. I feel like this one is just like you're just going to go through a whole bunch of recordings, I think, as you get comfy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh man. I think you just got a misdemeanor ticket from Roku. A little too much subs. Oh man. We almost made it through a Friday without anyone getting a ticket. And then paintball rolls into town. Oh no! I think he detected frequencies under 48 hertz. And I'm lush. This one is called Hack My Heart Remix, work in progress 2.
It is hard to tell what is on my mind. Sometimes my feelings are just a cold ice. I built the walls around you, said you wanna give it a try. It's a mistake to say that I'm a fly. You are the one with whom I wanna spend my time. You're falling high.
All right, so a couple things here. I felt like there was a harmonic clash happening between the bass and the vocal in the. It was largely the first half of the song. I didn't feel it as much later in the song, but felt it a fair bit in the intro. I would use this spot at 141 as a reference. You can hear it throughout, but I think that that's a very specific moment right there where you can hear that the loudness relationship of your mix is off. And I think the reason is because you've eliminated the peaks and the valleys. You've eliminated the distance loudness wise between the different elements. So it feels like everything is really close in proximity, both in loudness and stereo position, even though we can all hear that stuff has been panned into different positions, and we can also tell that these were at a different volume relationship originally. So here's what I would recommend. Take a look at this waveform, and you see how it's mostly rock steady, mostly a straight line across. Remove all the compression, bounce it again, and then look at that waveform and see what it looks like. I bet you there's going to be more peaks and valleys, and those changes, even in the age of loudness, those changes are more important than anything else in a track like this, I think. You've got a really good palette of sounds. You've got a really good arrangement. You've got a really good vibe. There's great sound design here. You've got everything working with like a definite kind of synergy. It's just the delivery of the mix that's off on this one, I think. Let's see what the chat is saying. Chumtai says luffs, which is loudness. Femtai says, well, sounds like elements are competing in volume here. It's a super solid track and idea, but it's lacking the dynamics. Okay, so similar feedback. Roku says, oh man, the track is very smashed. Big loss there, homie. Back down on the limiter. You have a wonderful track that could be developed into a proper banger, but all your dynamics are gone. Okay, so yeah, I think everyone's kind of hearing the same thing here. Silence triggers surprise and attracts attention. Absolutely. The first part was off key. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so that's what I would take a look at is the tuning and the intro, just the relationship between the bass and the vocal, and then I'd back off all the compression and take another swing at this with less aggressive limiting, because you've got a really good song. Jazz Life is up next. Been a minute. This one is Artelunga Vita Brevis. Head, early draft. Let's listen to this thing. Oh, wait, there's a description for the song. Going for a sloppily tracked Blue Note Records type of vibe. Sort of half mixed it and threw satin on it, giggled, uploaded. All right, here we go. Let's check this. This is good. It's incredibly close to a very famous song. And it's like, it's kind of skirting around it. It's not a cover. It's definitely its own thing. I would like to hear like a little bit more room in it. Like not room like space, like this is too busy, but more like room reverb, like presence. Like it feels live, and I want a little bit more of that. And it would also be kind of fun. And maybe this is silly. But if you're going to go the live recording route, it would also be kind of fun just to get a little bit of like jazz club ambience in the background or something too, for something like this. Oh, Becky. Yeah, wouldn't it be fun just to have a big old meetup, right? Just a barbecue, just like one day where we all get to hang in the sun, kick it in some nice lush grass. We can all bring some instruments, make some funky, fresh stuff, like some Boston House. Recluse is going to be right back. Grab his top hat, cane, and martini. This is awesome. Something a little too pan to the sides. You're like Ben says, OhmLab, you're what I like to call not fair. Yeah, I get that a lot, man. I get that a lot. We had a little listening party for some 8-bit sounds the other day, and someone said, "This is what? There's 700 sounds from Chris." Sorry, guys. There isn't any reverb on it. I had a weird problem when I put Pro R this time. That's all MIDI sequencing, by the way. Okay, so number one, that's great MIDI sequencing. That's really, really good stuff, because a lot of that felt really organic. A lot of it really did. So you put pro R on the verb track, which I usually parallel process into the master bus, so you can mix it. But this time when I turned pro R on, I had both channels all the way up. The signal got weaker. Phasing issue? Yeah, probably. And a lot of that is going to have to do with the low end. So there's two rules with reverb in my world. Because you do not want to be a savage. You always EQ your reverb. Always, always, always. The other thing that you should do is you should always listen to the reverb before you apply it. Because every reverb is going to have a different taste and tone to it. It's just going to have a flavor, and then that is imparted upon your sound. And if that doesn't jive with the entirety of your mix or the entirety of the sound that is being run through it, then it's not going to feel right. So there's potentially two things there, actually. Yeah, but don't high pass 55 hertz, homie. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. Yeah, I know. I can always tell, right, Ben? So here's the thing. Here's the thing is if you're gonna put it on like an entire mix, which I don't normally advise, you're probably gonna do something more like this. Like it's got to be a lot more aggressive. You don't want stuff slapping around. Like you want your highs, your highest and your lowest frequencies to be the original notes being put into the air. What you don't want is for these frequencies to be bumping into the original frequencies, or else you get the result that you're running into, which is like the phase cancellation. DJ Kingsta, thank you so much for the follow. Kwame, welcome in, brother. And your party of 15. Appreciate you, homie. How was your stream? You sexy beast. Here. All of you get some free sounds. Free sound pack. Right there. Right there. Only good for today. So download it right now. Paul says, been getting pulled away today, but some good stuff as always, folks. Thanks for the 404 pack, OhmLab. Happy weekend, Ohmies. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for hanging. Tremtai says, wait, this is MIDI? Yeah, I say big ups on the MIDI programming. Yes, you really want to put a verb in a box. You can always loosen it. You can always loosen it, but there's got to be a couple of things that happen. You've got to EQ your reverb so you're in control of which frequencies are dangling in the air. Because when you're talking about time-based processing, your reverb and your longer form delays, it's intentionally keeping frequencies hanging in midair, right? And other frequencies are just bonking into it. I use this analogy not a lot, but just imagine you're at a crowded party. It's an indoor party, so it's already kind of shoulder to shoulder. It's kind of late in the night, and then this big dude, drunk, just ridiculous. He's bumping into everyone. His drink is sloshing all over the place, and all these poor small people are like bouncing off of them. He doesn't even realize it. He's like, I'm belligerent. And that's a low frequency in your mix, just like hanging out in midair while the rest of your song is trying to do its business. So, yeah. You are welcome, Kwame. Just wrapped up an interesting vibe. Nice, dude. Jazz Life. Do we know each other? Industrial Revolution, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. I'll spam this one more time there. You guys are free to grab those sounds. It's from one of my other sound design labels called Sound Freaks. And it's really original stuff. All right, Kong, you are up. Oh man, it didn't like that at all. Let's try that again. Ah, wait, there's an E in there. There we go. All right, made this song last year, been out of production for a while, haven't finished a track since. Maybe kick is a bit too loud for the genre. Also, open to tips on production motivation. Okay, here we go.
Une force mécanique supérieure nous permettra d'avoir la victoire et de délivrer la patrie.
So this is on Spotify. Is this something that you've just released independently? I can play this from the beginning. Yeah. Oh, seriously? All right, let's see if I can remember this. For some reason, it is not recalling my password, which has been just fine for eons. Did I get it right? Did I get it right? I think I did. Did I? Okay, we're in. Here we go.
La défaite française a été causée par la force mécanique, aérienne et terrestre de l'ennemi.
Nano. Yeah, no, I have nothing to hide in my Spotify. There's definitely no time for cooking podcasts, that's for sure. But you would find half of the listening history is Disney princess soundtracks for sure. I'm sure there's a great abundance of probably some Minnie Mouse stuff in there too. Kiddo's a big fan. Seriously though, there's like a lot of Moana and Kanto, you know. Becky says, your kick is slapping me in the face. Roll off a little bit of the highs. All right, so I dig this. I think the vocals can be a bit more on top of the mix. If you back off the loudness of a few elements in the mix, the bass can come down in a few places. The kick can be EQ'd. I would say just roll off the sub on the kick because it's also got some sub in it. You don't need that. Your bass is already dwelling in that region. And like Becky said, treat the top of that sound as well. You might even want to scoop a little bit around 450 to 550, that realm. And just in general, I would put an EQ on all the tracks. If there is, maybe try tightening up in the frequencies that you're allowing through on a few of those tracks. But all said and done, this thing is pretty darn good. It feels like there's a volume mix thing that needs to be attended to in places, and I think that a lot of that probably actually just comes from the compression, the limiting that was used in the end. So you might not need to compress this quite as much as it is. You can arrive at loudness in other ways. In fact, I would encourage you to take off that limiting, that compression that's shared there, and try something really simple like an overdrive or some tube saturation or something like that to get that added warmth and loudness, and see which one you like better. The reason why I bring that up is because you've got a lot of old school vibe in this thing, right? And sometimes the production techniques that you're using with older content, newer production techniques don't jive with that kind of stuff as well. So the stuff doesn't sound as authentic as it could with the type of ethos you're drawing on, the aesthetic that you're trying to build. So I would try that. Those are my bits of feedback here. Kick does have great tone. Becky says, by the way, I'm also listening on my phone. Oh. Delta and down the road. Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I like it. It's good stuff. Only on the outside. Oh, Roku. Chakra DMB. Oh, man. Finished with a bang, right? You guys ready for this? I'm always down. It's just a whip. He's like, don't get too excited. It's just a whip. Doesn't matter. I'm still excited. This one's called Time. And it's from Chakra DMB.
Time. Time. Time.
Cosmic Mountain, thank you. Appreciate you. Happy Friday.
Time.
Grab some free sounds.
Time. 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 Time.
My brother, this is really good to hear something early in the works from you. How many hours do you have in on this right now? I'm watching all of these people react to hearing an incomplete. Oh wait, hold on.
Say she got me.
How do I
How
stop
much she
this?
leave me?
Where the hell is my?
Don't tell me.
Goodness, couldn't figure out how to stop. Autoplay is the devil, right? Yeah, hearing people's reactions to hearing an incomplete Chakra D tune. It's nice. Really good. Really good. I was surprised by the giant verb and just how high-end centric it was. It's a cool choice. Love the transitions. That drop at 125 is amazing. 140-ish, I lost track of time because I didn't start typing it till after it already passed. But where you got that really quick little 4 count there. It'd be cool to cut the verb and reversal into that, so it just sounds like a big old. And what if you run the entire reverb channel through some modulation, like a combo of filter and saturation? So over time, the environment that all of this stuff is ringing out in is being manipulated, not like super aggressively. Roku, imagine eating a jar of Nutella, being high as fuck, listening to some smooth Eskimo tune, and then frickin' autoplay to your hardstyle playlist, and you choke on the spoon, right? Oh, we almost did get Moombad. DJ Empirical, you take care. Oh man. Yeah. I'm just catching up with the chat here. And Cosmic Mountain, yeah, you came in right as we were finishing up. Enjoy the free tunes, though, or the free sounds. Everybody does get this. I'm going to spam this one more time here in the chat. Free sound pack today. This is going to disappear in a few minutes. Nobody else gets it. You get it because you're here right now, and that's all there is to it. It's from one of my other sound design labels called Sound Freaks. So enjoy it. It's a bunch of really awesome, quirky sounds, drum sounds, which everybody loves drum sounds. Rest in peace, Spoon. Oh, at least it wasn't a fork, Roku? No, seriously though, it's not good to choke on your silverware. Or utensils if you're not using real silver. Oh my goodness. Hey, who's up right now? Who's up and playing right now? Let's see. Let's go bless someone with some... Oh, yes. Liv is up. And it's Friday. You guys, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for spending Friday with me. I hope you enjoy those free tunes. You have just a few more seconds to click that link before it all goes away because we're going to go see Liv. Follow Cardio Party when you get there. She's amazing. I will see you guys on Monday. Have an awesome weekend. Stay inspired and make something cool, will you? Peace out.
Yo, Boo, I was like gonna hang out in your stream